All right, y'all. Welcome back to d.visionz podcast. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Today we're gonna talk about growing up. What was our childhood like growing up? Once again, I have Mara P back and Alex P back. So it's been great. It's been great to have Alex around. Alex has been staying with us. He's clearly in summer right now. He's been staying with us. I think this is like the third or fourth day. How you like it so far, man?
It's pretty cool.
Be honest.
Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be a little boring, but no.
So really, like I said, we're gonna talk about childhood. We're just gonna talk about things, but that is one question I have. And one thing that you mentioned before is that let's keep it real. That's what you said. So that's what this podcast today is about. Let's keep it real. As we talk about growing up in our childhood, and as Alex is still growing up, but today what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep it real. No matter what. Ain't nobody feelings gonna get hurt. Let's keep it real. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to your question. How do you like it so far, being here?
It's been good. I thought I thought it'd be a little boring because my mom isn't here and I'm so used to being with her. But nah, it's pretty cool because Mara's here and Demario's here when he's not at work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
What about Catalina?
Oh yeah, Catalina too.
Okay. What else? What do you enjoy? You've been waking up, You've been waking up early and going on runs.
To me that's crazy because you're in a city that you don't know. And you've just been
definitely with that, with you definitely not being at home, not understanding your surroundings.
Yeah.
Not that many people probably. Is there a lot of people out when you go out?
Nah.
I know some people
You said
taking
this
walks.
morning compared to last morning.
The first time I went running on Monday, there wasn't a lot of people. But today there was not a lot. There was only around 6 people running.
I would say that's a lot.
That's
here.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, if I leave in the morning, some people out there walking. So I would say that we don't live in a young environment or a young place. So it's
mm-hmm.
it's a lot of the older people.
Yeah.
That that's probably what you're seeing. There's a lot of older people around here.
Yeah.
So that's
and
definitely.
Everybody has dogs out here. Literally every single house. So you got a lot of dog walkers.
What's motivated you to be in a city where that you definitely, you went on a run with us, before, but that was us all together. And what's motivated you just being able to wake up early in the morning and being able to go out, on a run by yourself?
Not knowing the area. I feel because I don't have as much freedom as home, at home, because my mom tells me, oh, don't go. But here, nobody's holding me back or nothing. So I was going, it's just me versus me. So that's why.
Oh, go ahead.
But that's why I wake up in the morning, and one of my motivations is nobody else is waking up at 6 in the morning going on runs. There is people, but
nobody your age really.
Yeah.
That's not being pushed by either a coach or a mentor.
Yeah.
Or things like that. And at the end of the day, you don't play a sport. So you doing it, for yourself and, or trying to get to that level of what you're trying to do with boxing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To work up my stamina.
So what got you into boxing?
I feel watching the sport and because one person I seen on boxing is Pitbull Cruz. That's my first I ever supported really, because Canelo, I seen him here and there, but I never watched a full fight. And when I see Pitbull fighting style and when he fought Tank Davis, I he motivated me to box. And,
Did he make it seem easy or
nah, not really. I already knew boxing is a hard sport, but not as hard as no, I didn't. I thought it was pretty it was medium, but it's a really hard sport. It's a physical sport, like football. Yeah. No, I enjoy it though.
You enjoy running or boxing?
Boxing.
Boxing. Okay.
Do you enjoy running?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, I'm testing it out still, but yeah, I think I do.
So I mean, I have both of you guys here. You know, we come from completely two different backgrounds. You know, of just how we were raised or how we grew up. So I just kind of want to hear from you guys today, as far as what was it like growing up for you guys, and is there a difference between, you're 23 and you are 16, right? So with there being a 7-year gap difference, I mean, what's the difference? What would you say is the difference, between same parents but a different time in life? What would you guys say is the difference?
So I feel like, like that's what I kind of wanted to touch on, like when you were saying, like, we come from the same place, but we were definitely raised two different ways. When I was, like, I think it also has to do with technology now, like iPads and stuff like that, right? Because I know Alex,
everything.
You were an iPad kid because you did grow up with an iPad. How I grew up, we had a lot of, like, my dad is, like, on the older side, so I got to experience him a little bit younger than Alex, did. So basically, like, we always had, so we lived in an apartment, and in that apartment building, like, we had a lot of little friends, like, that we would all hang out at a certain time at night. It was just a lot of... Would you laugh?
Because when you said little friends, I'm thinking you talking about like roaches or rats or something.
No.
I'm like, damn, like, okay, let's keep it real. I get it, like, damn, let's keep it real.
No, okay, no.
All right, but
I got neighbors.
You.
That's what I meant, neighbors. Yeah. And we would, like, all go outside. We would all hang out. We would all play games. We would all, like, it was a lot of just nature and enjoying life. Like, you didn't have, like, a phone, so you weren't constantly checking the time. You didn't have, like, a distraction. So everybody was, like, it was so fun. And then parents-wise, parenting, my parents were, like, I would say strict compared to how, like, they raised Alex. Like, I don't know if it was because I was a girl, but I don't think so. Just because I had a brother growing up, an older brother growing up. Well, I have a brother, but growing up, like, we were both the same age range. So, like, he's 3 years older than me. So the treatment that we got, like, my brother was, he was allowed to go out, but not as freely, definitely, as I see Alex being let, to go out.
How do you feel about that?
What?
Hold on, wait, let me say me. Like, me, when I was young, like, my parents would not let me go out. Like, don't get me wrong, like, once I got into high school, they were able to, like, okay, kind of let me go to, like, my really close friend's house, a party here and there, a quince here and there, but it was, of course, with me begging them to go. Go ahead.
What?
So what is your perspective on that, as far as what she's saying, the difference of you guys growing up?
Like, do you
No,
disagree?
I do think I have more privilege than you guys, but I haven't really been out like that though. I've been to, like, football games, not no parties, but football games at PHS, and at the mall. But
why do you think that is?
They got softer, like, when they grew up. But one thing I have noticed was my dad. He had lost patience.
Yeah.
And my mom, I feel like she still has patience with me, kind of. But I feel like she lost. I mean, yeah, right. She lost more patience.
I think they got older.
Yeah.
And they kind of, like, okay, like, with mom specifically, I feel like she's kind of like, well, this is my last baby. Like, after you go, like, that's an empty nest,
Yeah.
So I think in her head, she's trying to, like, to make sure that she has the best possible relationship with you. So, like, she's trying to be lenient with you and, like, a little bit more open with you so that you're able to, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
What?
Like, can you add on to what I'm saying or no?
Oh, most definitely.
like when I'm saying like, oh, like she feels like she probably this her last baby.
Yeah, I mean, because I think, my mom is in that same predicament where, my little sister, she just graduated, high school, and, here she is going into, getting ready to go to a university. And, it's completely, it's completely different from my mom. She's got a whole different,
That's why they're softer, right?
I think as they grow up and they look at us and, the older ones that if we have left the nest and we didn't stick around or stay around, I think they tend to soften up a little bit, thinking that that's going to want to keep the other, child around. But I don't really think that that's the case. I feel like at the end of the day, as you grow up and, you're, of course, you're going to do, just like next year, we're going to do something different. 5 years from today, something's going to be done different. 10 years from today, something's going to be done different. So I get it. At the end of the day, I feel like parenting is going to change across the board, no matter what, especially from a 7-year span. But I feel like the outcome has changed. I feel that what parents wanted for us back then, they don't necessarily want the same thing for their kid now. I mean, talking about school, I think every parent wants their kid to whatever go to school or be successful or something of that sort. But I mean, it's just there's just much more leeway, now to kids, that I've seen, where parents have sunk in and given their child things that we probably weren't able to do until we were grown. Like I know, like an example, me and my sister, we didn't get, like my sister, she was a girl, so she had her ears pierced. But I didn't have no piercing until after I turned 18. That was just the way it was. And I don't know if it was because my dad didn't want to hear from my grandfather or if it just was something that, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't think my dad really cared, about, I don't think it was a big deal for him, to let his son get his ears pierced, but it just never happened. And I've always wanted it, but I can't recall if I ever really asked him. But I know as soon as, I got older, I got my ears pierced. Me and my sister, she got her nose pierced, I got my ears pierced, but we were grown, at this point, we were basically grown. And I feel like, like me, I have my, what is it, cartilage? Yeah, I got my cartilage pierced. And once again, me and my sister, we did that together. And then I think, because I did them 2 different times. And I think the other time I just went by myself or something. I just went to go get it pierced. Just because it was just something that I wanted, and I got my nose pierced. And I was still in my dad's house when I had my nose pierced, though. And he didn't even know. He didn't even know.
He didn't notice?
Nah, he didn't notice. Until my sister said, "Oh, you don't see what's in your son's nose?" And he was like, let me see. So he didn't see it. He was like, oh. And then once again, that's when he said, bless you.
Thank you.
That's when he said, what was your grandfather going to say about it? But I'm just like, at that point, it really didn't matter what he was going to say because his definition of what it was, that's not why I got it. Right. Just like there's a lot of people out there, there's different meanings for different things. Right. And what they say, a tongue piercing, but everybody, maybe some people got it for that reason. Maybe some people just actually like it, I don't know. But I just feel that in today's world, like, like you wanted a belly button piercing, but I met you when you were 19. And I just feel like in today's world, parents have given in and have allowed it at the age of 12, 13, 14. I just feel like parents more now so feel bad for their child if they don't allow them to have what the other friend out there has.
That's true.
And it's just like I have and I mean, I know there's probably going to be some people who see them like, whoa, just wait until you. It's like, nah, for me, that's not what it is, and people are going to say, oh, you're going to struggle, with your daughter and this and that. It's like, no, we're going to have a great line, clear communication, but it's not about that. It's, at the end of the day, just because once again, we'll go back to that whole statement. So if Johnny jumps off the cliff, are you? It's literally that same thing. But I feel like parents have like literally lost that. Like it's like, okay, Johnny jumped off, so you go ahead and jump off now. It's like that's what I feel like it really is now. Versus like no, like they maybe are doing that in their home or their house, or that's maybe how they talk to their parents, et cetera, X, Y, and Z. But for me, I just couldn't like just understanding. That's one thing that I like is structure in the household, and just because you went out there, you went to school, and you seen your friend do something, or your friend, a parent allowed them to do something, don't mean that you're gonna come back home being able to do that. Just because your friend got an iPhone, or your friend got EarPods, or your friend got an Apple Watch. A lot of people say, oh, your child's going to feel out of place, or they're going to feel like they're left behind. But it's like, no, it's just two different things. There's a difference between making sure you teach your child that these things you need to work for in life versus, okay, I'm going to just give it to you because they got it. And that has become the same problem. Like, as I'm scrolling through TikTok, people are talking about, how hard it is in 2024 to get a job, but not realizing why it's that hard. It's because everybody's been taught, all these kids now that are trying to get jobs, they have been taught that, that meant that same mentality where it's like, okay, well, because such and such had it, now you can go get that as well. And it's just like, no, you can't. And so everybody feels entitled to a job. Everybody feels privileged to a job, and especially, with minimum wage increases. I mean, it just went up, July 1st for, different cities and stuff like that. But, it's definitely, it's not going to be as easy as what it was back then, getting a job, going in there, working when minimum wage was $10.25, $12.50, $12.75, $13.25. We're talking about minimum wage being $16. Just from when I started working, I believe minimum wage was like if it wasn't $9.75, it was like it for sure wasn't $10.25. I know that it was. I know I was still in single digits.
What did I get?
I was still in single digits when you first started. I think you started working
15?
in 2017. No, you started working. Sorry, my bad. You started working in 2019. So you were working in 2019. So I think you're around like the I think you're in like that 14, 15 area.
14 probably, yeah.
I think something around there, and it's just like how it has increased over time,
For sure.
And I feel like it has a lot to do with the lack of parenting, and it actually just teaching it at home, holding people accountable to what needs to be done at home, the basic chores, the basic fundamentals. So what's happening is, because of that same mentality, oh, they feeling bad, because like, you've mentioned, okay, you were 14 going to football games, right? So you're 14 going to football games. You had a girlfriend going out to the movies. I mean, at 14, I couldn't,
Yeah, 14, I definitely couldn't.
So it's just like, but it's like at that same token, if you would have said, well, once again, Johnny's doing it, then at somewhere the parent mindset feels bad. They soften up. They feel bad that.
And then also, let me just say this. So like, they also like go in their heads for some reason. Like it like, they say like, oh well. Okay, like since your sister, your brother's out there, like able to do that, but we're a whole different completely age,
Oh yeah.
Like that's a big one where like they're gonna be like, well, I feel bad because I'm letting Mara do it, but Mara's 7 years older than Alex.
Yeah, no, I definitely can tap on that one as well because, that's how it is for my little sister. My little sister that lives with my mom. I mean, she is that way. She always says, well, Tar and Demario do it. Tar and Demario did it. Tar and Demario did it. And it's like, Tar and Demario are grown. Tar and Demario live on their own. Tar and Demario got jobs. Tar and Demario has kids. So it's different. So it's just like, I've noticed that and I've seen that through my family where, siblings are paying attention. They are looking on how we are talking to our parents and what we're doing and what we're actually going out there to go do. So, somewhere down the line, that child feels privileged enough to say, well, they're doing it. And I just, I've seen it that, parents aren't necessarily sticking it to them. Like my grandfather, he was big on that. Like if that was like, it didn't matter if how close we were to a person. If we were not supposed to be in that circle, he had something to say about it.
Yeah, he'd be quick.
He has something to say about it. And I feel like that's gone. And it's because we have lost a lot of, grandparents in our elderlies. We've lost a lot of them, due to COVID or before COVID or even after COVID. So there's the hierarchies are gone, and the parents relied on them so much to help them parent and try to figure out. And now I feel like that's where parents have softened. Some parents, like in you guys' cases, like I don't think you guys ever seen grandparents, right? So like that's definitely a privilege that I know that I have that I never took for granted. Was just being able to have the ability of grandparents to be able to learn from them. The older style. And it's definitely helped me a lot by having that structure in my life of having seen from both sides of the family, like my mom's side, my dad's side, the older family members, the older generation that's there. You see what they went through, you see what happened. They're there, they can teach you, they can give you knowledge, they can take you back through their times of how they live, because that's typically how you motivate somebody is by what you were going through, what you experienced, in that lifetime. And so that's what I would definitely say as well. What are your thoughts?
On what?
Just what we were talking about. Just as far as, I guess you probably answered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably answered some. What else you have?
I was saying, what else has changed? Do you have anything that you think you can think of that changed?
About like family?
Like the way you
or
just growing up.
time.
So growing up. So what is how has life been for you growing up?
It's been good. I was fortunate enough to like get things I wanted. I'm not sure if Mara, did you get things you wanted?
Yeah, but definitely the value of things was very different. Like our parents were probably better off like when you came around, like being young, than what we had. Like we probably went through a little bit more the struggle. But definitely they've always tried to provide for us. I feel like it kind of got harder because you're in a generation where you guys want more expensive stuff,
Yeah.
For us, it was kind of easy, like the DS and that's it, you know? You guys had an iPad and a new iPad and then a new, like that kind of stuff.
But I feel also it's like the jobs they got too.
Yeah, the jobs,
like,
definitely.
The opportunities they got.
Yeah, the
and
opportunities.
that helped them be able
For
to
sure,
afford
yeah.
it.
Yeah, because at one point, we grew up with mom being a stay-at-home mom for a little while. And then at one point, I think mom said that dad was also at home for a while. So definitely, like that's a big difference.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we kind of were told a little bit more like, oh, in order to get this, you have to do this, this, and this. And we were also, well, I would say like me more than even Pablo, like I was a little bit more like relied on like to be in the kitchen, to be cleaning. Like I know that most of the time I would have to clean the restroom for not, and like not like that, but it's kind of, I think it's a gender role thing like that goes on in the Hispanic community and like other communities as well, but
no, I would definitely
predominantly.
Yeah, no, you probably Hispanic because for me it was completely different. For me, growing up, after my brother left, it was like everything he was responsible for, I became responsible for.
Yeah.
So it was like I was the one, cleaning the restrooms, cleaning the house, cleaning the dishes, sweeping the floor, mopping the floor.
Yeah, and that's what built you, though.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
just but hold on. I'll let you talk. Let me talk. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go through that where it's, like you said, that is what created me. That is what built me, and just the expectation of, when I have to clean the restroom. I mean, I think with my dad working in a restaurant, for him it was like big, or just like going over my grandmother. That was a big thing, like cleaning. Like, her whole thing was like, if you're gonna do something, do it. Don't half-ass do it. And it was like it had to be done. And when it was time to clean the restroom, I mean, that was my dad. No matter what, I can scrub the shower and everything, and the main thing he would go do is check on the side of the toilet to see if the pee was still there, no matter what. So it's like, I always have to just make sure. So, I mean, I don't know if it was really a gender thing, but like you said, Hispanic household, Hispanic family, it might be different. And that's what I also want to talk about as well. Like, what may be some of the differences within a Hispanic household and, an Black, African American household. But I would say, like, that's one, like, I mean, just growing up, my sister was she wasn't held accountable, like I was when it came to cleaning. Like, I had to make sure my room was clean. I had to vacuum. I had to do gardening outside. I had to take out the trash. Like all those different things before I can partake in, playing sports or going to practice, or playing a video game or watching TV. Those are the things that I had to do that had to be done. So that's why I just want to piggyback, when you said I think it's a gender thing, and it's like I'm not too sure about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Huh?
That's it. I don't remember what I was gonna say right now.
Yeah.
That's why I was gonna say it, because I forget.
Oh yeah, my bad. You do forget a lot of stuff. So that's what she claims. She forgets a lot of things. Let's keep it real.
I forgot.
All right. But so okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about, what is the difference between, I mean, you guys aren't Black, but from what do you guys see or maybe hear, what would you say is the difference between, the way you guys grew up and the way, like, I grew up?
Okay. Like, you grew up, or like different cultures? Different from ours?
Probably. Well, I mean, me, but I'm not sure how too much. I mean, you know how I grew up.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
I mean, like, a big thing was that a lot of, like, Hispanic households, you're expected as a woman to do a lot more. Like, cleaning, cooking is heavily relied on the women. I do feel like in your generation, though, it has changed. Like, when it came, I don't know if it's maybe because you didn't have a girl growing up with you, know what I'm saying? But, like, I saw the difference, like, with my brother and, like, what I had to do, what I was expected to do. But I know, like, for example, you cook sometimes for yourself, right? So, like, I think it's changed, like, generations. But, like, that's a big one, and I didn't know that it was really different in different households until I, for example, was staying at my friend's house, and she's Filipino. So waking up at her house was really different because the mom and the dad are both cooking at the same time, and I'm like, whoa, like, usually it's the woman is in the kitchen cooking. And then dating you, like, I started seeing you cleaning up, and I'm like, whoa, like, you probably clean up more than I do. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's weird, like, to me it was a culture shock. I didn't know that. Not that I didn't know that men can clean or cook, because obviously, like, they're able to. It's just weird to see that,
And also, like, my dad, I don't know if it's my situation or, like, my dad started cooking more than my mom, because I remember my mom used to cook always, like, every night, every day.
Yeah, generation, like, once, yeah.
And now my dad cooks too, for me, and then my mom too.
Yeah.
But you saying, like, just kind of growing up, the more you got older, is that you see your dad cooking more for you more than your mom?
No, more. Yeah.
Yeah, now, yeah.
Okay. I was
Make it in the
like,
morning.
Like breakfast. You talking
Yeah.
about breakfast?
Yeah,
Yeah. And you think that's predominantly because your mom leaving and going to work earlier?
It's
And,
probably that. That's why I said maybe my situation.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I grew up in a one parent household. So, for me, that's why I think it was just so much different across the board, because as you guys grew up in a 2-parent household, I grew up in a 1-parent household where my dad, both of my parents are about cleaning. Like, like my mom's, she's really a bathroom clean freak out of everything. She really wants to make sure her bathroom is really, top notch clean, and like her front room. And that was one thing that was big about my dad as well. Like, just kind of going, like, if we wanted anybody to come over the house, or if he had, people come over the house, like, we had to make sure that the house was clean. Like, the house had to be clean, the bathroom had to be clean, the kitchen had to be clean. Like, I'm talking about scrubbing walls, corners, detailing, trash, make sure there was no liquid inside the trash cans, etc. I think when it came to cooking, I think the cooking really started for me really in the summer, like when my brother was still around, and my dad was out there at work, and we were at home, and there, I guess, quote unquote, my dad would always say that there was food in the house, but as a kid, it's not the food that you wanted to eat, so it was like you had to kind of make it work or figure out how to make it work. And so, like, the biggest thing was, like, my brother, he was like, "Are you hungry?" I'm like, "Yeah." All right, so we go in the kitchen. He would cook the sausages, and I would cook the eggs. And he taught me one time how to just cook the eggs. And then every day that's what we was eating, sausages and eggs. And he taught me how to cook that, and that's how I knew just how to cook eggs. When it came to making oatmeal, my grandfather taught me how to make my oatmeal, my kunui, at a young age, because once again, predominantly, like, the males, they know how to cook the breakfast, to just kind of help out the females.
I have a question. Does your brother cook eggs the same way we do?
I don't know what he does now.
Okay.
I think
But that's the way he taught you.
He's probably changed. Well, he just he taught me like the seasoning. Okay. So he taught me clearly cracking the eggs, the seasoning.
Butter.
No, not the butter. The butter I just learned as I was.
He would do oil.
I think we would spray the oil pan. I think this I was like young when we were doing it. I was probably like 8 or something, or whatever. No, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But we was doing it young, and so I think that's just what overall got me into that engagement role, where it was just like, all right, I'm hungry. I need to go in there. Just like little things, but my dad would also make me do little things. Like if I wanted an apple, I would tell him like, "Dad, I want an apple," but I can't. My teeth still to this day are weak, and I couldn't just bite an apple and eat a whole apple, so I needed it cut. And he was like, "Okay, go get out the kitchen." I was like, "Well, I need it cut," and my dad wasn't about to cut it. He was like, "Well, cut it." And I went in the kitchen. I went to go slice that bad boy, and I cut myself. And that's how I pretty much had to learn through trial and error. To make the mistake and learn from it, but I would definitely say I'm a person who could also learn just by watching people. And so just watching, my dad cook fried chicken, watching my grandma, make her cornbread, when I started living with her, I started seeing her cook a little bit more, but she slowed down so much, so I didn't get to see everything. But the little things that I did see, that I was able to pick up on, that I just started trying myself as, when I eventually moved back out on my own, those are the things that I was just kind of picking up and learning when it came to cooking, and so that's how I really, generated for me, is realizing, like, at the end of the day, for us, it was predominantly like, oh, feed yourself. A lot of times, like, in certain things, like when it came to my being at my grandma's house, completely different. My grandma was gonna cook. She was gonna make sure we were fed. A guy even got to a point where my grandpa cried one night, because he thought, we didn't eat, and he called my dad and bring the kids down here. I know they're hungry, bring the kids down here. And he cried until we came and we went. It wasn't like we were struggling or anything. He just had the mindset, that we weren't eating or whatever. And we went down there, and for a while we used to have dinner down there, and that's where all those created all those great memories with them, of being able to have that opportunity as well, just to be able to sit down with them. And I would say just kind of being around you guys, like a big thing for us. It's like it's not. I don't think it's necessarily a culture thing, because I just think it's just a family, household by household thing.
Yeah.
But like we didn't really, as we got older, we didn't eat at the table. And I still I feel like to this day you guys do. Like, I feel like it's a priority for you guys to eat at the table.
Yeah.
For us, we get our plate and, if the game is on, we sitting on the couch, or that person then going in their room, or, it's more independence versus like a whole family household, like all come together, sit at the table, we bless our food. We pray for our food definitely at, family events, gatherings. Like if I'm with my mom, we're definitely like praying over food. Like, that's just, ain't nobody touching, they plate, when with my mom and somebody not praying. That's just like definitely a big thing. But that is one thing that I definitely seen, that is like you guys, definitely still gather at the table even at this time of life. You guys don't eat on the couch, or anything. It's like we went over there last time and it was a lot of us at the table. And, they allowed us to eat first. And then, like y'all didn't even make plates.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody even made plates yet. They just watched us eat, make sure we're good. And then it was like, okay, you guys good? Okay, we're about to come and eat now. So it was just like, this is crazy. It's funny, because for us, everybody about to grub. No matter, you got to sit on a tree trunk, a fence, whatever. Like everybody gonna get their plate. Like it's just, ain't nobody about to sit there and wait. And I would say that that's definitely a big thing. And I would say like that's another big thing. And I feel like, I don't know if it's in you guys' culture or just in your family, where I've seen you guys your family caters to the young first. Yeah. Versus us, we cater to the elderly.
Elder first. Yeah,
we cater to the elderly first, and they eat first, and then maybe the kids, and then whatever. But I would say that that's definitely like a big difference. Is that as well. And it's kind of going from there. Yeah. And just to move on to the next topic, as far as on what do you guys think it would be like if you were raised in a one-parent household?
I would definitely say like we would definitely find it hard. Like holidays, I would say. Holidays would be like our biggest thing, where it's just like, okay, well, like, I feel like it's hard for me to be like, oh, like what parent do I go with? I feel bad for the other parent, like personally. That's just how I view it. Like obviously it's different, like because we come from a 2-parent household, so we already know what was installed. Like I don't know if I wouldn't have known that before, like how would I feel? But like coming from the 2-parent, it's just kind of like, you just feel sad. I would be feeling bad for my other parent the whole entire time I'm spending time with one parent. You know what I mean? Like, I would feel like sad because they're missing out on everything. We definitely, I feel like our relationships would be different. Like growing up, like our own relationships would be different. Like I would probably have a different mindset, I don't know if we would be together, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of that changes because you come from what you see at home and, like, what you experience and all that stuff. Support, I would feel like that would be different. What would you say?
I think it's hard to think about it because we weren't
like you're used to, yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like
definitely hard, right?
Yeah. Maybe I'll be in like some bad situations,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because think about it, like if you're with your mom, like your mom is a little bit softer, you know, like a mom is like, she can only tell you so much, you know, and you don't know who's gonna have custody of you. So, and then, well, I'm not saying all moms are like that, but our mom is like a little bit more like nurturing, softer. So it would be hard for her to tell us something, you know. It would be hard for her to tell you, you know, something like about what you're doing wrong, you know. As opposed to my dad, I don't know. Like I feel like he leans on my mom as well. Like I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, just to kind of piggyback what you said, you know, not all moms are soft because, man, I got a cousin who he was raised by his mom. And I mean, you know, she covered the male and the female. You know, there wasn't a, you know, I mean, he was afraid of her more than he was probably afraid of his own dad. And I mean, so, yeah, it just
changes.
Yeah,
and it varies.
it varies on dynamic.
Who your parent, what characteristics they carry.
Yeah. So I mean, to kind of piggyback off of that, like I would definitely like to have this conversation with my sister, just because we both came from the same household, we both came from the same family, and I think a lot of those times those questions arise is how were we affected?
In the long run too.
You know, how were we probably affected in the long run by only having, you know, one parent household? And like I say, till I can remember, I don't remember being in the same house with both parents. Like I cannot recall that situation. Yeah. You know, and whether like a parent got upset, but it's just I can't. I was too young to really remember both parents there. I never really truly remember my mom and my dad ever really being together. You know, but like I did, I experienced it. I experienced, you know, the Christmases, the Thanksgiving, you know, and with one parent and then having to be with the other parent.
And so, was it on your mind, like, oh, like did you ever feel bad personally? Like,
no, because
I know it wasn't your fault, but
because I mean I think because I was born into it. Yeah. So like I'm saying, it's not like
it's just something you're used to. Like it's not like they divorced when you were
like
a lot older. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was 8 or 9. And
like your memories, you're just like, oh, I remember when we used to spend Christmas as a family together.
Yeah.
Like, that was never a memory built in your childhood.
Yep. So it was like for me, it was like it was normal.
Right.
You know, it was normal. Like
it was like I'll see them next week and celebrate it.
No. So the way it was for us is, you know, we had in the morning we had Christmas. You know, clearly with my dad, he had full custody. So you know, my dad, and then you know, go to my grandparents' house, and then you know, whatever time, you know, 3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Well, that same day.
That same day.
But it doesn't work like that for everyone, right?
Well, it just depends on your case.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some people have to see a different day.
And how the parents, you know, have to get together. So like, I mean, but my mom and we all lived in the same city. So for example, for my little sister, with her living in a different
state.
Well, she don't live in a different state. She lived in California still. Yeah, but she lived up. So you know, you got to take a flight or you got to take that long drive to go get her. So in her case, it is that way. It is 1 year, you know, okay, with her mom. The next year she's with her, you know, with her dad. So that's like a different kind of scenario. And once again, she was born into that as well. So it's like for us, you know, we probably, for me, it never did. It never really hit me that hard as far as like, oh, I wish, you know, both parents were here. Like, do I think that certain things in my life would have turned out differently if I would have had both parents? I mean, as I'm sitting here looking at these trophies right here, I definitely think I would be more advanced in my sports career. I feel like, you know, that's where, you know, when my dad took away, you know, basketball from me because I got in trouble or something. I mean, that was something that destroyed me and my happiness. You know, where it was like, if my mom was there, would she have allowed that to happen? Yeah. You know, it would have been one of those conversations where it's like, you know, you can't take that away from him. You know, that's like, you know, that's not a punishment. You know, if anything, you make him work harder at, that's a skill. That boy has a God-gift talent. He got a skill, and that's not something you should ever take away from him. You know, it's like, it was one thing if, you know, if it was a phone or something, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about my phone being taken away. I didn't care about, you know, whatever you know. I remember one time my friends thought I said like my dad took my door off my room. I was like, no, you're crazy. Like that ain't never happened. But I mean, for a while, like I never had a lock on my door. I didn't have a lock on my door until I learned how to install a lock on my door.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was like I found a lock in the house and I learned how to install that bad boy and I put it on my door. And then from there, that moment, I finally had, you know, I had some privacy. I was able to go ahead and lock my door, you know, and things like that. But yeah, my dad would pull on it, don't lock this door in my house, and you know, different things like that. But that is one thing that I guess I could say is that I had privacy, you know. So I had probably more privacy than what you guys probably had.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in an apartment where we only had one bedroom, so I don't know, like we made it work.
And so what was that like? Because like for me, it's like completely the opposite. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I grew up in a house, my own room. I mean, I shared it with
right.
my brother, but I was in my own room. But I grew up in a house, so I never
Yeah.
grew up in apartments. I mean, when I was with my mom, yeah, we go with her. There was apartments, so I understand
Yeah.
that whole dynamic. But what was that like growing up in an apartment and having to share one space?
Yeah, well, inside the house, like I said, like we had one bedroom, so I believe we all slept in the bedroom and my dad in the living room, right?
No,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you probably too
Because
young.
yeah, he grew up in the
In the two
apartment
bedrooms,
with
right?
the 2 bedrooms. Yeah,
Mhm.
like you can say you mostly grew up there, right?
yeah.
But like I remember like it. My mom, I feel like, would try to make the best out of it. So like I remember one time, my mom would do like half of the room, like all like girly things that I liked, and like whether it was like stickers on the wall or whatever it was. She would do that, and then the other room, like the other half of the room, whatever my brother liked, and then they would honestly like sacrifice their space for us. So it was a lot of that. It was a lot of like my parents sacrificing whatever they can for their kids. Like, you know, like that was like a big thing for them. I remember one time even my mom's bed was in half of the living room. She made it her room, and then we had like our room. Like me and my brother, we had our room. Like I said, half of it, like whether his bed, my bed, you know. It wasn't like we didn't like it. That's all we knew, and we weren't embarrassed about it. We were kind of just like, you know, like I guess it brought us closer. You know, sharing that space. We always were around each other. It wasn't no like, oh, go lock yourself in your room and do whatever you want. It was always we have to do everything together as a family. Yeah, I mean, if you want to add anything.
I don't remember anything from the
No.
old house, but the one they're at right now,
Yeah.
the two one. It was mostly me and mom, right? Because me and mom we never had a room by ourselves. It was either you or Paulo with
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
So it was like that. But I don't remember. Were you with a room with Pablo, or was it like
I
one of
think
you
I
guys?
was at the beginning, like when we first moved there. I had a room with Pablo, and then it was just you and mom in the other room. Like I said, I think my dad has always slept on the couch. He just preferred it. Again, like it's kind of hard for my parents to sleep in a bed together when it comes to a 1-bedroom apartment. You know, like where do they really, you know?
Yeah.
No, I used to always sleep with my mom.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a space thing. I mean, if you probably had your own room, you probably would sleep by yourself. Who knows? I don't know. But also, like I said, a lot of what we had is like the next door neighbors. We were always outside with them. So we had a lot of friends, you know? So I think that was a big one for us because that's what we looked forward to every single day, going outside. The ice cream person would come and we would all get ice cream together. We would literally basically live with our neighbors because our community was just so tight and close, you know? Like everybody knew everybody's struggles, everybody knew everything going on. Another thing I wanted to talk about was although my parents, like, we got raised by both parents in the same household, a lot of the times it was like my dad being with us in the mornings and then my mom being with us in the afternoons. Like it was the one parent at a time type of thing, just because they both have to work. Like they, it was a struggle sometimes because my mom didn't drive. Even if she did drive, I'm sure we would just have one car, right? Like, given the circumstances.
I would have think still 3, because at one point when I met you, Dad had 3 cars.
No, that was like now. That's why I said like the stuff got better. Yeah, but back then it was always we just had one car.
Right.
So yeah, like my mom would probably not drive a car because we probably just had one car. But like I said, so like when my dad was at work in the mornings, when my mom was at work, whatever it was. Anyways, when we were with our mom, a lot of the times, like, we had to go walk to places. Like, if we had to go to the store, if we had to do this, we had to do that. And it's a struggle because, like, sometimes we would have to go, like, super far places, but we would still walk, or we would take the bus. And I mean, it's normal, people do it, but we did a lot of, like, the...
And do you feel like going through that taught you anything?
Yeah, for sure. It taught me to appreciate a lot, just be grateful for a lot of stuff, especially like I said, like we would appreciate even more the days that my both parents were home. Like it was just family time all over, like always, like every minute together. Like we would play games, we would eat together, we would those days were considered like our fun days because we had both parents. And we would always go out whenever our both parents, like whether it was to whatever little place we would go to. Yeah. But yeah, it was a struggle, like I said, because, and it's sad because then your parents grow apart because they're not seeing each other together, like they're not together all the time, so they're taking turns, like night shift, morning shift, and it's like they barely get time to like spend with each other. So that affected the relationship for sure, I would say. Would you agree? You don't know?
I don't think so.
No. But you also didn't grow up seeing them how I saw them, huh? Like, I feel like when I
mean, yeah, because I think if you think about it, we kind of do the math right now. He's 16, and if you're talking about back when you guys only had one car, I mean, you were probably, what, 12?
Young.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's only 6 years old. He's only anywhere from 4, 5, 6. Right. So
because I grew up with seeing my parents kiss and hug and love on each other, and I don't think you grew up seeing any of that. So that also has a lot to do with it. Yeah, but I remember like my mom would take advantage of like the times that she would be home with us, and we would have to like we would stand in line, like I'm not saying begging for food, but we would stand in line, like to collect like whatever my mom had like programmed us in, like
Yeah, like you guys had to do like a little lottery thing, you and Paula, or no?
For what?
Back and when you were in the other house.
Oh, like
remember?
when we would get picked like for people to gift us presents and stuff. Yeah. So like my mom would take that time to like get us into all these churches where people would gift the kids, like adopt a family type of thing. So then like we would stand in line sometimes because it's like first come first served. So we would stand in line like from the morning, like outside of a church, like waiting to like go into the thing. But to us it was fun. It was all we knew, so we were happy to be there. We were excited. Like when that day came along, like we were excited to go wait in line.
It was like Christmas.
It was fun. Yeah, it was so fun to us. I didn't ever see it as like a bad thing until like I'm not saying it's a bad thing now. I'm just saying it is a struggle you go through.
Yeah. I mean, I just even just kind of when we went to the Thanksgiving drive, I think it's kind of the same thing. I think it's never a bad thing to, if there's somebody out there who can bless you with some goods that that you actually absolutely need.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's never a bad thing. I think it's just similar to even just us as adults going to that Thanksgiving drive and, getting gift cards, canned food.
For sure.
Cornbread.
And like my mom would mostly do it because like they personally didn't have the funds for Christmas, like to gift us anything, like personally. Sometimes, it did get bad. So like my mom would fight to get us on the list, would fight to get us on, like she was part of like a mother's club, it was called. It was like a thing. So they would definitely,
And you remember when you were talking about the cars, right? Like,
Yeah.
We were talking about like the old cars. We had like the Jeep and like the Nissan or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They weren't like the best looking cars either.
Yeah, they were busted. So like.
I mean,
even if
before they had better cars.
They,
But
yeah,
no,
I
but
mean,
I'm not sure about the whole situation with that.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, yeah, they would have like better cars, but like I said, like I think Dad also worked
yeah.
more.
More.
I think it was like it was here and there.
I'm not sure what it was at, but I was just saying like it was the Jeep and like the Nissan.
Yeah.
Going to high school, and one thing I always appreciate my dad because he would always like when going there he would like hide, not really hide, but he didn't
would?
really. Yeah, he wouldn't really want me. He thought I was embarrassed of his car because it was like old
Yeah.
and had like tape on it.
So
and,
he
like,
would go.
Yeah, he would like take me in like a little corner and then he would like, and then he would like, alright, you want it here? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And he would drop me off, and I'm always grateful because he always tried to do better for me. Like,
Yeah, like
that's
although
why
it
he
didn't
got-
matter to you, he would, I guess. In his
Yeah.
And it kind of takes me to your situations because I know you told me that you were.
Nah, I was just gonna save it for. I was gonna save it for me and my sister podcast.
Oh,
but
okay.
Nah, I'll talk about it. I mean,
Just briefly, I guess.
I mean, man. I mean, no, me and my sister. I'ma still talk about it with my sister because we gonna sit here dying laughing because it's just definitely more funny if
When-
it's
yeah, if
when
it's
it's me
both
and her.
of you, yeah.
Like to me, like that's where I'm gonna really laugh because
Yeah.
we gonna be able to piggyback off each other and we just gonna be able to talk about so
For
much
sure.
like how we grew up.
Yeah.
But nah, I mean from just going to like Avison to Blair, I mean, man, it was like although like we didn't grow up poor, you know, but it was like there was a reason why my grandfather always had money, you know, and that's because, you know, he didn't put all his, you know, money into, you know, the best looking things out there. My grandpa, you know, he old school. He held on to a lot of stuff, you know, and that was kind of how like I am. That's how my dad was. And, you know what I mean? My dad recently just got, you know, he got rid of his Suburban. I want to say like after I graduated. It was for sure after I graduated. So I want to say like he got rid of his Suburban in maybe 2018. And the only reason why he got rid of it was because somebody hit him, and because his car was so old, it dented in the front, the front fender or whatever. So then they salvaged the title,
Crazy.
you know. But it was still he had just put a brand new engine in there.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I mean, there was a few different times. So like when we were in like elementary school, you know, although like my grandpa had the Mercedes, you know, sitting at the house, or the Cadillac sitting at the house, my grandpa wasn't driving that. That was my grandma driving that. So like we always loved, you know, when my grandma was coming to come pick us up, cause she'd be right in front of school, either with her Cadillac looking like Medea or in her Mercedes, you know. And so it was like, all right. And it wasn't about that it was a Cadillac or a Mercedes. It really wasn't. It was just more so about like that was the cleaner car versus like, you know, my grandpa, you know, picking us up in a big blue van. Like if you got picked up, if a student or a child got picked up in one of them vans that my grandpa used to drive, you know, he had like the little Mexican box trucks, you know, like you know what I'm talking about, the sliding door.
Yeah.
He had that. You know, he had the big creep blue van that looked like, you know, serial killers.
Yeah.
You know, so you know he had that. You know, my grandpa he did all kind of work.
Old and beat up.
And the thing, he had no seats in there. You know, so we would get in there, and I think in that van there was like one seat that we all had to like kind of go back there and sit on because he took out the other seats. So I mean, you know, we was sitting and stuff like that, and you know, my dad would drive my mom's old Volvo, you know, come pick us up, you know, and I mean like windows didn't roll down, and like I mean it was like, man, but you know, my dad would ride until the wheels fell off. So like when my dad pulled up, you could hear my dad turning the corner because you could just hear his brakes, like, you know, and that's embarrassing for anybody, like, you know, like damn, dude, what are you doing? Like, can you fix your brakes at least? And I mean, you just hear him. Like, literally, that's how the car sounded. And we're like, dude, like, come on, man, fix this. It's just like, who wants all the attention to be on them as they're getting in the car? You get what I'm saying? Not like you get in a Rolls Royce or a Bugatti or something, you know, a McLaren or a Maybach or, you know, you're not getting in those cars, you know, and even if, you know, but that's just what it was. It was like that. And also, you know, my dad, you know, with his business, you know, he would be coming to come pick us up with clients. So, you know, he would have a van and he would have this big white van. And, you know, the clients would, you know, have their face out the window or looking in the window like this when he be coming to come pick us up. And he come to come pick us up right in front of school. And we like, dude, I mean, we used to it. We grew up with it, so we were fine with that. But there was just one day, that I think he had, I don't know what car he was in or what SUV or whatever. But I mean, we seen him. And the moment we seen him, me and my sister took off running. So we take off running and we hide. Like, she hide somewhere, I hide somewhere. And, you know, my dad pull up. And so, you know, my dad typically always on the phone. He pull up. So he honking the horn, trying to get our attention. And, you know, everybody looking around. And he calling us. And me and my sister, we will not come out. We like, nope, not right now. Like, everybody in the front of the school. Like, we like, nah, not right now. Like, nah. So we think, okay. He take off. Like, he backs up, pulls out, so we're like, okay, he's about to go look for us on the other campus or something. Nope. He straight up left. And like, y'all could think I'm lying, I'm playing. No, this dude left. And me and my sister look at each other like, bro, we should have just got the car. Like, what the heck? So we just like, so she looked at me, she like, so what we gonna do? I said, shit, walk home. She like, I said, yeah, let's go. So we started walking. And we almost basically, we just gonna walk all the way home. We don't got no money, no nothing. So we literally about to walk home. No bus, no train. We're literally about to walk home. And that was gonna be a good, almost like a 2-hour walk just to get home. So, but those are the reasons why me and my sister are so connected. And, you know, we're just so close to each other. But it just so happened that as we literally are turning the corner, like, we kind of got like maybe 10, 12 minutes away from the school. We turn the corner, and who my godmom is, which I call her auntie, she sees us, so, you know, she like pulls over to the side and roll down the window as we turn, and she's like, where you guys going? We're like, home. She's like, how are you going to get there? We said, walk. And she's laughing. She's like, no, you guys are not. We like, yeah, we are. She's like, no, just go ahead and get in the car. I'll take you home. And, you know, we get in the car. We're like, thank you. And she's like, so how are you guys? We said, we were about to walk. She was like, I don't believe you guys about to walk. We're like, yeah. So, I mean, you know, we grew up with it. We were used to it. I think my sister could probably recall what really happened at that time. But it was just, I mean, my dad would always just, you know, pull up, and I mean, like, one, you know, his springs on his Suburban, I mean, they were, you know, I mean, and when you open up the door, stuff would be falling out the doors, you know, like bottles, you know, I mean, his seats were just completely ripped, torn off. Like, if I really wanted to, like, you know, y'all, I do uncut, so I don't edit these videos. So if I was really editing these videos, I would literally throw in clips like that I have of the Suburban and what the seats used to really look like. Like, we used to literally sit on the metal piece of the seat. Like, that's how much the cushion was gone. And I mean, you know, eventually he got them fixed, you know, but I'm like, dude, like, you know, it was just like, that's just how it was. And it was just like,
it's so funny.
That's how it was. And I think, you know, it was definitely funny. You know, it's not that it was embarrassment. I mean, when we look back at it, of course, it's funny, you know, but at the end of the day, like, one thing that I know me and my sister will both say is that we're grateful that, that he was, you know, picking us up. He was taking us to school every day, picking us up. You know, I mean, as I got older, I mean, I started going to school closer to me, so I just stopped really caring about him taking me to school. I would just walk myself, you know, walk myself back home and just be more dependable on myself or take the bus. or whatever, that I needed to do. But I mean, just kind of growing up, as I see, like, yeah, we took the school bus. We did take the school bus. We understand those times as well. But once again, we only had to, like, we lived in a cul-de-sac. So we just walked down, boom, right there. Like, not even 30 seconds a walk. And we just walk down, boom, hop on the bus. Same thing, we get dropped off right there, walk back up. So, like, when they stop doing that, stop having school buses, take kids to school and things like that, we never ever worried about walking in the rain, taking the bus in the rain. Some of the things that other people have to worry about, the struggle. Sure. Like, there was just always, we were privileged in that way. Like, if we didn't feel good, my dad had the ability, he had the freedom to come get us from school. Yeah. If he couldn't get us, my grandma was there to come get us, or my grandfather was there. Somebody was going to be able to come get us, from school. When we had our toothaches, dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, whatever it boiled down to. So at the end of the day, I know, like, I'm truly grateful, as of today, just kind of looking back and just, like, when what is it that you're thankful for? And as you look at that and you see, how much, like, once you have kids, on how much of a village you are going to need, to piece everything together, just kind of like right now in these circumstances where, yeah, you're staying at home right now, but as life continues to get hard, how easy is that going to be? How easy is that going to be for you to be able to continue to stay home and we don't have a village around us here? Like, we don't live, we live 80 miles away from family, an hour and a half away from family. And, definitely in the peak of hours, we live 3 hours away from family. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, so it's just like kind of understanding that, on those opportunities, where it was like when my dad couldn't get us, like, there was always somebody to come get us. And so, it's just, that's just the way, kind of looking at, childhood and just kind of growing up and how to be grateful for, even though you could have been embarrassed or it was funny back then, but just looking back at it as being older now and just saying, damn, like, we were still blessed. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe parents didn't have the best, but they had it. Yeah. And kind of just looking back and seeing, like, yeah, maybe times were easier back then. Maybe, I don't know. We didn't, I think anybody is going to say that. I mean, we could pull up the numbers, we could pull up the stats. I get that. Anybody's going to say that. But I think, being a parent is still being a parent. Like, I don't think that, it becomes any easier whether you have money or don't. I think those are some of the things. So let me ask you guys this question. Would you guys have preferred that your parents had the life that they had financially, or do you prefer them to have a lavish lifestyle?
It's hard to say for me, just because if they had the lavish lifestyle, those memories wouldn't have been made, Mm-hmm. I wouldn't cherish what I cherish now. I wouldn't be grateful for what I'm grateful for. I could have been some bougie little girl, but, like, I feel like because my parents did and because they showed me that, I was able to really know, like, okay, like, what I'm grateful for, and you appreciate a lot of the things a lot more, like I said, the family time. I'm sure in a lavish lifestyle, although we had money, although my parents didn't have to be at work 24/7, that family connection, family time probably wouldn't be there as deep as it is. Like I said, the 1-bedroom apartment made us all be in the same place together. Made us all at night tell each other stories, tell each other, like, all hanging around each other. Give it, like, a mansion, we would be disconnected from each other. It would all be in our own rooms. It wouldn't be, Yeah. What would you say?
I would say, like, the memories. It wouldn't be there. But also, like, I would be more comfortable. Like, all my parents are rich. I'll be like, oh, okay. Or, like, more lavish? You mean, like, with more money, right? Yeah, I'll be, like, more comfortable.
More relaxed, complex.
Yeah, but, like, right now, like, I'm not saying my mom depending on me, but, like, I want to make my mom, like, I'm more motivated.
You want to retire her.
Yeah.
I'm more motivated. I'm gonna Yeah, and if I had like money, I wouldn't be motivated. I wouldn't I'll be relaxed.
The drive.
I would be like, I wouldn't have like good grades at school. I would be like, alright, I don't need school. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's how most people, because my friend Jack, my friend Jack, he didn't care about his grades. He's gonna be a super senior. That's what he said. He's gonna be a super senior because he wants to do football.
Yeah.
But people he's rich. They don't really care.
They don't.
Like his dad has him backed up, and for me, I don't.
The grind isn't there. The drive to want better, to do better, isn't there. Yeah.
One thing I would definitely agree on the memories, as far as memories being there, because sometimes when a parent makes all that money, you know, they're probably typically at work. You know, so you barely gonna see them, so you don't get to really make all those memories. But I would say the other thing, to agree to disagree, I would say I still think at the end of the day it's still about you as an individual. Just because of, you know, what I come from. And what I come from, and if I once ever would have thought that, you know, what my dad had or what my grandfather had was going to be given to me, like I never ever thought that way. Like I've always looked at it from a perspective, like growing up as a man, you know, that I wanted my own. I didn't want nobody to give me nothing. And so it's just like,
Sorry.
I'm not going to say, I mean, we had, you know, I mean, my dad wasn't broke, you know, the money was there. Whether or not he spent it on us, that's different. But I would definitely say, you know, the good grade, like I was still motivated to get the good grades, still motivated to become something in life. Because at the end of the day, you know, daddy money wasn't going to fix, you know, my situation or where I wanted to be in life. It's just kind of like looking at Bronny. You know, it's like at the end of the day, like people hating on him right now or they hating on LeBron. And it's just like, I mean, this whether or not he got drafted, the dude put in work. You know what I'm saying? Like his dad's a billionaire. Like dude didn't have to go do that. He didn't have to go put in the work. And it's like everybody out here is trying to disgrade him, you know, or downgrade him for being drafted to the NBA, whether they feel their opinion that he was ready or not ready. But it's like he puts in more work than the hater that's hating on him out there.
Yeah.
As his dad is a billionaire, and it's like the person that's sitting there hating don't got like my grandpa would say, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how you hating on a person that's out there trying to grind, that's trying to make a name for themselves, trying to create history, you know, when they don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that. You know, he doesn't have to do that. You know, like, your dad's a billionaire. You're set.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that.
I really think about that.
You know, and it's just like, at the end, I don't understand, you know, that whole dynamic.
Sorry, can I say something before you finish? Like, you're speaking a comfortable lifestyle, or you were speaking like lavish lifestyle? Like, I'm not saying your dad didn't have it, but I'm saying like, you guys like, what do you consider like lavish in the sense that like rich, like millions?
Okay, so well, remember, lavish don't mean you gotta have millions.
Well, I was going based off that. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, so what I would say is that if I felt that if we would have been, if my dad would have been the dad to give us everything we wanted, it would have been considered lavish. He had the means and ability.
Okay, but I'm saying like that's kind of how I took the question. I think that's how we both took the question. Like rich.
No,
you
not
didn't?
millions.
No, not
but
millions.
like rich.
Oh, I took it like.
But not millions. I mean,
I
but
took it like rich, like rich.
no, just $100,000. Like
No,
I mean,
I'm telling you that that's how I took it. That's That's what my response based off of.
No. I mean.
So that's why I thought okay, we could ask you that same question, and you would. Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't think so, because I mean it's like at the end of the day, it's the person's asset doesn't necessarily mean that that they actually have that money to spend in their hand right there at that moment.
Yeah,
it's just no. I know, but I'm just explaining it.
Yeah, I mean.
So that's where it's just.
Yeah.
No, but that's just the way it is for me.
Any more questions or?
No, I mean we need a project manager because we just talk, but I think we hit it on I think we talked about it enough and just talking about childhood and ask for next time. But thank you guys for tuning in to d.visionz podcast once again. This is episode number 4. I hope that you guys were able to watch the full video and get to the end of this video. Keep following along and just follow this journey as we continue to keep the growth and the build of d.visionz podcast. Once again, y'all, my motivation is not to hide the information, so I'm coming on here and talk to you guys, almost every day or every chance that I get, and just to share a lot of information and just a lot of personal growth and financial growth, business, just everything. We're gonna just talk about everything across the board. Every conversation will be different. But once again, you guys do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment and drop that like as well. It's definitely what's gonna keep me going and hopefully keep our topics interesting. But other than that, y'all, that's it. Once again, another late night like we like to do it, but that's what we like to do and that's how we get it. That's how we get down. So this is King D.
RP.
Alex P.
And y'all, we out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Have a blessed night.